Hey guys, RC here. I am back with just a little quick video for GameDev Tycoon. I just did a little short 4-part series on it, and at the very end I'd kind of come up with some ideas. I've posted those over at Greenheart Games forums, but wanted to kind of dive into it, so I started playing it again this morning, and so far, I'm still in the initial first episode, I guess you would say, where you're in the garage. But I kind of wanted to show you what I'm trying to do. What I didn't like about it from a replay standpoint, it seems the game is constantly pushing you higher and higher, and as you get into bigger offices, more personnel, you do have to generate much more revenue. So I was wondering if we stayed in the garage, or even if we just went to the next level at the small shop and limited ourselves to say 1 or 2 employees, how far we could get in the game. And that thought process, because a lot of the games that I play, I mean, yeah, there's the Skyrim and the Fallout and, Bethesda and, those kind of developers that make these huge games that generate multi-millions in revenue and units sold and everything else. And that's kind of where we were at. That seemed to be the benchmark that we had attained in our little 4-episode series, was that quadruple platinum level. 4 million units was kind of what we were shooting for, and to keep pushing that envelope. So here's what I've done, and again, I think one of the things they could do is if they would do a tweak for the game history and have it in a pop-up format where all the games are visible at one time, like have the game title and then units sold, cost, income, profit, and then have all those individual items sortable. So you could sort by top sales rank and see what your top ranking game is, top profit, whatever. That would be great to see it all at one time. But anyway, so you start off with random games. So this was my first one, a game development simulation. And we got a 6 rating and 15.7 units. That's 15,700. Then we got a 725 on a school simulator, 13,000 units. A zombie strategy, Brains for Dinner, 12.1K units. And so on and so forth. So I'll just kind of scroll through here. So, we rank number 20, number 33, number 21, number 13. So that was a good one. Still only 185,000 in profit. Number 20 again, number 17 on our last release that just came off the market. And we made 286,000. So we reached the million mark. And I got the pop-up asking to move to the next level. And granted, as I said in my video series, the 4-episode series, it's not a good idea to jump into the bigger building right away. And there's no way to go back either. So I'm going to stay here for a little while, but it kind of got me looking. So a lot of these have been in that 20 to 25 range. And, we're making $250,000 profit. And I think that's an attainable goal for a small developer. Now, if I look at, I should have written this down and had a pop-up or something, but my first game had a, you have your design score right here at the top and then your technology score. And those are the driving factors to determine the success of your game. So my first game had a 9 and a 12 rating. And then the next couple of games were in the 11 to 13 range in each category. Now those were with the default engine. So I released 3 games. Then I did my first custom game engine, which was Game Engine. Actually, I guess just custom game engine. It's basically your default custom engine. And then I had, I had 11.13, 16.9, 13.16, 12.15, 15.14, 14.13. And that's what's gotten me up to this current point. I was at 981,000, but again, we're losing $8,500 a month, or for expenses. So I think if you wanted to play a small developer, and the reason I was fixated on that was, a lot of the games like this one itself, it's a small developer. Out of the Park Baseball, as successful as that is still, Marcus is still a small developer. I mean, he owns the business. He has expanded. I don't know how many people he has working for him, but all in all, Out of the Park Developments is a small developer. Jim Jendon over at Front Office Football, one man show. I don't know that he has anybody working for him. What's some of the other games that I've been? RimWorld, I think, was a one guy. So a lot of things that I'm playing lately are very small developers, and yet with those you can have multi-million-dollar selling. I think what's going to limit you here, and I'm trying to leave the pop-up up so the time doesn't advance, but let me pop in here. I just built a new game engine, and that's going to take me individually to the next level. I think that's going to be about as far as I can go by myself. And the other thing is the topics that I have, what do I want to focus on? But you'll also note there is no training at this level. While you're in the garage, you can't train. You actually have to go to the next business, to the next shop, where you can hire up to, is it four employees, I think. So maybe what I'm going to do in this solo play is see how I do with this new engine in the next, and then re-release several of our genres that we've already done: game development, zombies, fantasy, hacking. Probably release 4 games with the new engine, which is game engine number 1. So it's the second iteration with some upgrades. And that should give me enough money and points to move into a new shop, then develop a new engine, which would be game engine number 2, and then start hiring a couple of employees. I don't think I want to max it out, 1 or 2, and then see how viable that makes it. And, again, I'm already feeling the monotony of just over and over and over again, which is, I think that's something that the game needs to figure out how to fix that. If you're just doing the same thing over and over again, I just, I think that's puts a wall of, finite playability. But, I'm trying to tweak this enough in a solo play to where I feel like playing it again. And right now I'm honestly, I'm not feeling it. I think that's something they have to look at in a new release. Now, I'm not saying the game's not fun. Didn't say that. If it wasn't fun, I wouldn't have picked it up here a second time. Actually probably a 4th or 5th time, because before my solo play where I did very well, I probably went bankrupt 5 or 6 times trying to figure some stuff out. So, but once you get the hang of it, it's basically just rinse and repeat, right? So, I think they need to tweak a few things to give it some different paths that the game can take, make it a little more playable, replayable, but also change it up to where we're not all playing the same game. Like instead of getting random topics, let's say we want to set up a kid studio, then we would want, school and whatever the kid genres are, right? and we would want to focus on youth, youth games instead of everyone or mature. Let you pick 3 or 4 topics and, 2 or 3 genres at the very beginning that you want to focus in. And it's already taking about a year. You can release maybe 2 games a year if you're just cranking them out. But set it up to where you're able to do 1 game a year, 1 game every 2 years. Maybe sit there a year and lose, just spend it doing all the research. But, that's limited on your research points. So, release 2 games and then spend a year researching. Allow yourself to train in the garage. It's not that, independent developers aren't trying to better themselves, right? I mean, so I could be working out of my garage and still reading some of those how-to books over here in the corner or taking online programming classes. So, there's a lot of things I think they can do here. As I said, I'm trying to push this as far as I can and staying as small as I can. So, again, my goal right now is probably to stay here till I reach about $2 million. See if I can do that with this new upgraded engine, right? Because right now we're on game engine number 1. I can't do game engine number 2 because there's nothing new. Give the game a try. I'm certainly not telling you not to do that. But, I just find that it reaches a limit of playability. And, there's some things I think could be done to make that better, more entertaining, more replayable. And, again, I don't like the fact that we're all pushed down the same path. Okay, move to the middle business, move to the big business, hire everybody, train them up, sell 4 million units of every game that you put out. And, okay, but, at some point that honestly ceases to be fun to me. I'm not judging for everybody. And so, what I'd like to do is be able to come in and mimic one of my game studios, even Gray Dog Software, Wolverine Studios, Out of the Park Developments. Out of the Park has, they focus on baseball, but they have a hockey game. Gray Dog has an MMA. They had a boxing. Don't know if they still have it. They've got college football. They're working on a pro football, allegedly, for about 10 years. Wolverine's got golf, college basketball, college football, pro football. So, they're all, but they're sports specific. So, that would be great if you could have sports, but then maybe have, in your topic, have sports, but then have subtopics. So you could have a football, a baseball, a basketball, a hockey, and then, you could release 4 games in a row, all sports, but they would be different sports. So they wouldn't give you the penalty for all being in one topic category. That would be an idea. In fact, that's one I just had. So, and that way you could actually mirror some of your, some of the indie gamers studios that you like, and you could try to mimic their development and their success. But that's something I think would bring a different playability to it, that it's not all about trying to get 2 million. Now my concern here is, and having played it literally just I haven't played it all that long, but I've played it long enough to figure the game out, and you've seen that in the 4 video series. I don't think all 4 episodes are up, but I think episode 3 and 4 are going to be coming up here in the next week or so. But it's I think the wall that I'm going to hit at some point is in the garage, not being able to train myself to better my skills, which means my design and technology scores will not continue to increase outside of any experience points that I gain per game. And then the only other thing that's pushing my games up is the new engines, and you can only do that after you research so much. And, you know, and then if I do move to the next level studio and start hiring people, well, am I going to run into the same issue there, that I can only afford to train so many people, or pay so many people? Am I going to have to start firing people and hiring cheaper, less, you know, less experienced? But will that in turn cause less points in my design and technology, which means my games aren't going to be as good, you know? Or can I, you know, can I sustain myself, or, you know, can I ever have a successful game with 1 million units sold and $1 million profit in a small 1 to 3 man studio? I don't know. And I don't know if that's attainable. It doesn't have to be every game, but, you know, it'd be, you know, I think every one of those studios that I've mentioned has had one game at least that kind of broke out and made them some money. And they were like, ooh, man, I wish all of our games would do that. You know, Front Office Football, no, that's the name of the game. It's Solsismic Software is Jim Jenden's studio. He just releases one game. It's literally the pro football game. And I guess in 15 years, he's released eight versions now. So he releases a version every 2 to 3 years, basically. And, you know, makes a living doing that. You know, so, you know, can you replicate that in GameDev Tycoon? I'm thinking the answer is no, but again, I want to see how far I can push that. So I am going to continue to play. What I may do is come back with another short video like this just to kind of recap my findings for those of you that do like the game and are interested in it. And by all means, check the game out. It is fun to play at least once, you know, and for the price, I think you get bang for the buck. Plus, you're helping out a small developer. I bought the game myself. They did not approach me to play the game for them or do it. There was no pay, no free game or anything like that. You know, I found the game, bought it, played it, and said, hey, pretty cool. I'm going to do a video series about it. But anyway, that's what I'm efforting right now, is trying to see what I can do on this smaller stage and see if it's viable and see if you can actually play the game that way. So I'll keep going for a while, and we'll come back and maybe revisit this in the future. Here, you know, I don't know, could be a week away, could be 2 weeks away, just depends on how much I play it. But that's kind of my goal here in this playthrough that I restarted this morning. And, you know, I've been playing for about 30 minutes, maybe an hour, and I've released, you know, 7 or 8 videos, not videos, games from my studio. And, you know, we're already 4 years through the game. We're getting ready to go into year 5. So, you know, still looking to crack that 1 million permanently. I had, but spent it on a new engine. But so those are some of the things that I'm trying. If you've tried some things in your playthroughs to try to tweak it out or put your own house rules into effect, let me know in the comments. Let's share those ideas. And, you know, maybe, you know, between a few things, we can stumble on something that works for a bunch of people and makes the game that much better for it. Guys, thanks for your time. Leave a like for the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And we will see you guys next time. Take care. Bye now.